All right, so today we're diving into something that's been generating a lot of buzz lately, blockchain. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, great, another cryptocurrency deep dive. But hold on, because this goes way beyond Bitcoin.
It really does.
Today we're talking about how blockchain could revolutionize pretty much, well, everything.
What's so fascinating about blockchain is its potential to completely redefine how we think about trust in our digital world.
Okay.
It's not just about money or cryptocurrency. It's about creating this secure and transparent system for all sorts of transactions and interactions.
So we're going deep today. Think of blockchain like a digital record-keeping system, but instead of one central authority controlling it, it's spread across a whole network of computers, almost like this shared tamper-proof ledger that everyone can see.
And that shared visibility is actually what makes it so powerful. Because every transaction is linked to the one before it, creating this kind of immutable record. So if someone tries to sneakily change something, everyone on the network instantly knows about it.
Whoa, so no more shady dealings in the back room? Everything's just out in the open.
You got it. And that inherent transparency is a total game changer, especially in areas where trust has become, kind of a major issue, like healthcare, for example.
Okay, healthcare and blockchain. Help me connect those dots.
Imagine if your medical records were completely secure, but easily accessible to doctors who actually need them, of course, with your explicit permission. No more worrying about those lost files or unauthorized access.
That's a game changer right there.
Right.
Especially with all the data breaches we hear about these days. So with blockchain, my medical history follows me, but I control who gets to see it.
Precisely. And there are projects like MedRec that are already in the works. They're using blockchain to create this single tamper-proof record of your entire medical history. It's accessible only with your consent. So this means your data is truly yours. It's not held hostage by different hospitals or insurance companies.
And having that kind of single source of truth for medical records, that could be huge for treatment coordination.
Absolutely. It could streamline that whole process of sharing information between your GP and specialists, leading to potentially more accurate diagnoses and just better coordinated care overall.
Okay. I'm starting to see how blockchain could be a game changer in healthcare. But it's not just about keeping our medical information safe, right? What other aspects of our lives could be impacted by this?
Well, think about something as simple as buying a cup of coffee. How confident are you that those beans were ethically sourced?
Honestly, most days, I just hope for the best and move on with my life. But I would love to know more about where my morning fuel comes from.
Exactly. And with blockchain, you could actually track those beans from the farm they were grown on to your local coffee shop. Every step of the journey, from the farmer to the roaster to the barista, it's all recorded on the blockchain, creating this unbreakable chain of custody.
Wow. That kind of transparency would totally revolutionize the way we think about supply chains.
Right.
Suddenly, ethical sourcing isn't just a marketing term, it's something that you can actually verify.
Exactly.
And it's not limited to coffee, is it?
Not at all. Imagine being able to trace the origins of your clothes, your electronics, even your medications. Blockchain can bring this whole new level of transparency and accountability to global trade.
So we've covered secure medical records and transparent supply chains. Where else are we seeing blockchain make a real-world impact?
Another fascinating area is the financial industry. Companies like Ripple and Stellar are using blockchain to make international payments faster, cheaper, and more secure.
That's huge.
Yeah.
I think we've all felt the pain of those international transfer fees and the agonizing wait for funds to clear.
Oh, tell me about it. Traditional systems rely on this complex network of intermediaries, which just adds time and cost to every single transaction. But with blockchain, you could theoretically send money directly to anyone in the world almost instantly, with minimal fees.
This is really making me rethink the potential of blockchain. It's not just some abstract tech concept. This is already making waves in some very tangible ways.
And we're just getting started. These are just a few early examples of how blockchain is being applied in the real world.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we've gone from blockchain is just for crypto to blockchain is revolutionizing healthcare supply chains and international finance. I'm already feeling like my mind is blown, and we're only just getting started.
You're catching on quickly. There's so much more to explore. We haven't even touched on things like decentralized finance or the potential impact on voting systems.
Okay, you've definitely piqued my curiosity. Let's unpack those next. Okay, so you mentioned decentralized finance or DeFi. It sounds like something straight out of a cyberpunk novel.
It kind of does, doesn't it? It has that futuristic ring to it.
Yeah.
But actually, it's a pretty straightforward concept when you break it down. Essentially, DeFi aims to recreate traditional financial services, like lending, borrowing, trading,
Right.
but on a decentralized platform,
Right.
one that's powered by blockchain.
So instead of going through banks, we'd be relying on blockchain to handle these transactions. What's the advantage of cutting out the middleman like that?
Well, for one thing, it could potentially make financial services way more accessible to people who don't have access to traditional banking systems. Plus, it could lead to way greater transparency and potentially lower fees, since you're not dealing with the overhead of a big financial institution.
Okay, yeah, that sounds promising. But how does it actually work in practice? Is there some blockchain magic happening behind the scenes?
Well, it's not magic, but it's pretty close. DeFi relies heavily on something called smart contracts.
Smart contracts.
Which are basically lines of code that are stored on the blockchain. And they automatically execute agreements when certain, conditions are met.
So instead of relying on a bank to process a loan agreement, for example, the terms would be written into the smart contract and the blockchain would just, handle the rest.
Exactly. You got it. That eliminates the need for those intermediaries
Yeah.
and ensures that the agreement is carried out fairly and transparently.
Okay.
As long as the code is sound, of course.
Right. There are always caveats, I imagine. But I have to admit, this is fascinating stuff. Okay, so we've got DeFi potentially revolutionizing finance. What about voting? You hinted at blockchain having an impact there, too.
Yes. Blockchain-based voting. Now, this is an area with, immense potential.
Yeah.
Though, admittedly, it's still in the very early stages.
Sure.
But imagine a system where every single vote is recorded, securely and transparently on the blockchain.
Okay, yeah.
Making it virtually impossible to tamper with.
That would be absolutely revolutionary. No more hanging chads or concerns about electoral fraud. Everyone could just have complete confidence in the outcome of an election.
Precisely. Of course, like with anything, there are still some challenges that we need to overcome.
Right.
Ensuring voter privacy while, at the same time, maintaining that transparency. That's a really complex issue. And then there's just the matter of accessibility.
Yeah.
And making sure that everyone can actually participate in a blockchain-based system.
Those are very important considerations for sure. But even still, the potential benefits are pretty enormous. Secure, transparent, tamper-proof elections. That's something I think everyone could get behind, at least in theory.
It's a goal worth striving for.
For sure.
And it just highlights how far-reaching the impact of blockchain could really be, right? From finance to healthcare to even the very foundations of our democratic processes. This technology has the potential to, really reshape the way we live and interact with the world around us.
Wow. Okay, I'm starting to see a bit of a pattern here. It's blockchain is all about increasing transparency and security in areas where trust is absolutely paramount. It's we're building a digital world where we don't have to just take someone's word for it. We can actually verify things for ourselves.
Well, that's a great way to put it. It's about empowering individuals and fostering a greater sense of accountability across the board. And the really exciting thing, we're only just scratching the surface of what's possible.
What do you mean? There's more. I thought we'd covered all the bases.
We've covered some of the key areas where blockchain is already making a real impact, yeah. But the technology itself is always evolving. We've got things like NFTs or non-fungible tokens. Have you heard of these?
NFTs, yeah.
Which are really pushing the boundaries of digital ownership and creativity.
NFTs, okay. Yeah, I've heard the term thrown around, but I'm not entirely sure I understand what they are or why they really matter. NFTs, non-fungible tokens. It feels like every time I think I'm getting a handle on blockchain, some new term pops up. Help me out here. What are we talking about with NFTs?
Okay, so think of NFTs like, digital collectibles.
Yeah.
But with that, that blockchain twist.
All right.
Each NFT is totally unique.
Oh, okay.
Representing ownership of a specific digital asset. So that could be a piece of art, a song, even a virtual trading card.
Okay, so instead of just having a copy of, say, a digital artwork, an NFT would actually prove that I own, the original.
Exactly, yeah. It's like a digital certificate of authenticity, and it's permanently recorded on the blockchain.
Wow.
And because each NFT is unique, and that ownership history is totally transparent,
yeah,
it creates, scarcity and value in the digital realm, but in a whole new way.
Okay, so I'm starting to see the appeal here, especially for, artists or musicians who are looking for new ways to protect their work and control how it's, distributed and shared and sold.
Oh, absolutely. NFTs give those creators a new way to monetize their work directly without necessarily having to rely on those traditional gatekeepers, like the record labels or the big galleries.
Right.
And it's not just art and music either. People are using NFTs to represent all kinds of things. We're talking about virtual real estate, in-game items, you name it.
Wow. It's like the Wild West out there, the Wild West of digital ownership, that is. But it's definitely exciting to think about all the possibilities.
It really is. And, that's just the tip of the iceberg. As you've been saying, this blockchain technology is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
We're really just starting to see its full potential. Who knows what kind of groundbreaking applications are going to pop up, in the coming years.
It's almost a little daunting, isn't it? Like, it feels like we're standing on the edge of a technological revolution, but we can't quite grasp the full scope of what's coming.
I know what you mean. It's definitely an exciting time to be paying attention. And I think the important thing to remember is this isn't just about being passive observers. The future of blockchain, it's not predetermined.
Right.
It's being shaped right now by developers, entrepreneurs, and even just everyday users like you and me.
So where does that leave, the non-tech wizards, those of us out here in the real world? What's the big takeaway from all of this?
Well, I think the key takeaway here is that blockchain, it's more than just like a buzzword or a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a fundamental shift in how we think about trust, transparency, and just the flow of information in our increasingly digital age.
Yeah, absolutely. From securing our health records to revolutionizing the art world to potentially even safeguarding our elections. I mean, blockchain really does offer this intriguing glimpse into a future where a lot of the systems we rely on are just more secure, more transparent, and maybe even a little more equitable.
Absolutely. And while there are definitely still challenges to overcome, I think the possibilities are just incredibly exciting.
I completely agree. So as we start to wrap up our deep dive into the world of blockchain today, we want to leave you with this thought. How do you see this technology shaping the future? What excites you about it? What concerns you about it? Because the conversation's really just beginning, and it's one that we all need to be a part of. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those brain cells buzzing.